All right, we're live. Welcome to Under the Hoodies, episode 3. Due to some technical and life difficulties the last couple of weeks, we have not been able to do a show, so I'm happy to be back. We are presented by backsportspage.com. I am Bill Kegel. That is Tony DeNicola. We are your hosts for this fun and wild ride, which is the NFL season. Week 15 last week, week 16 this week. Some interesting stuff.
The Jets won a game. Holy crap.
I can't believe it, dude. Even they would screw up losing.
Trevor Lawrence is going to Jacksonville, baby.
Oh, my God. Or he's going back to Clemson, which I think he probably on a more talented team on Clemson. No, I don't think so either.
No. People can talk about that all they want. If you're the number one pick, you got to go. Like, dude, you can't raise your stock anymore. You can only hurt it. God forbid he blows out his knee or something.
Right. Well, a lot of those college athletes, the high-end ones, they have like insurance plans or whatever, so they're pretty much covered for life. But at the same time, but why
financially you're covered? But if he loves playing football and he can no longer play football, he's not really covered. That sucks.
You're right. No. You're 100% right. So,
as a jilted Syracuse fan, what kind of education are you getting from Clemson? Let's be honest. They don't have Newhouse. They're not a communication school. Get out of here.
Yeah. All right. So let's actually
with that Clemson degree.
So you know what? I'm going to get right into my first topic actually, because this kind of bleeds into it. So a couple of days ago, Trevor Lawrence was on the Adam Schefter podcast, and he was basically saying like, people don't understand the stress that athletes go through, specifically ones that young. And I can actually kind of tell you that the only difference between what a pro athlete goes through and what a lot of young people go through is the media asking them about their mistakes and how they're going to eventually deal with success. That's really the only difference, right? But I can tell you that is not the most pressure situation a young person could be in. I'm not tooting my own horn because I am not one of these guys that did a lot when I was in the Army, and when I was in Iraq, I wasn't kicking indoors, I wasn't shooting people in the face, but a lot of people did. And I'll be 100% honest. I think that we've sort of forgotten what a lot of young people have to go through, not just in the military, but I think there's a lot of people in, med school. There's a lot of people in a lot of places where there is a lot of pressure. So to say that people don't understand what pro athletes go through, that's kind of part of the deal. That's kind of why you get compensated for, as much as they do, because they do have to deal with that, and they are compensated properly. And maybe they should handle a little better and stop speaking out of their ass when they say something like, they don't understand what we go through. They don't understand the pressure of being a pro athlete. I also don't understand what it's like to make, $800,000 a week either. I would love that kind of pressure, but I just think,
yeah, you're the king of the mountain at Clemson. You only have like every co-ed just throwing themselves at your front door. Like, I mean, cry me a river, man. In 2020, when so many people are struggling and it's been the most stressful, difficult year for everybody for a multitude of factors, like,
right.
I'm going to cry for a college quarterback who, basically has never really struggled as far as on the field in his life. I mean, look at his career stats. 66% completion, 9,698 yards, 88 touchdowns, and 16 picks. He's never thrown more than 8 picks in a season. And when
that's the other thing.
He threw for 36 touchdowns. Like,
right.
I sorry, man. I get like everybody's got stress and stuff. Like, I don't know, turn off notifications on your phone. Don't look at social media. Like, wham.
It's like a perspective thing, right? So a lot of NFL players, you'll see this tweeting. I think Raheem Mostert did it. Josh Jacobs did it. And they're like, we don't give a crap about your fantasy team. This is real life. Except for what you guys don't realize is that the inflated salaries of NFL players and the massive, massive deals that the networks get, a lot of it is driven by two things: fantasy sports and gambling. So you probably should care a little bit, and you should embrace it a little more, because that actually does help your bottom line. Maybe not Raheem Mostert, but if you care about, the future of the NFL, and you care about the NFL as an industry that's going to help young, kind of a lot of times poor, people get out of the situation that they're in and change their families, just generations of their families, then you should start caring a little bit, because those things definitely matter. And I don't think Raheem Mostert's wrong, because I understand, like, I guess what they're saying, which is like people care more about their fantasy team than they do the actual guy when they get hurt. That stuff is stupid. And sending death threats to pro athletes because, they blew your fantasy thing. Oh, fuck off. Like, you're a fucking pussy if you're sending that to a pro athlete. Because how many of these guys are actually going to go up to him and be like, hey, Josh Jacobs, 230-pound freak athlete. Fuck you. They're never going to say that to their face.
No,
What they're going to do it on Twitter like pussies. But
that's something I've been saying for years now, when, like, the fat 50-year-old guy a couple rows behind me at the Dome is yelling at college kids and, back in my day when I played high school football, it's like, shut up, nacho fingers. You couldn't do a fraction of what they do. Like, you're not willing to go say it to their face. Like, a lot of these kids you can meet at a tailgate after the game. You would never walk up to that guy and be like, oh, man, you missed that block. You suck. You're terrible. Turn in your scholarship. Like, That will never happen. And I wish someone would try it because I'd love to see him just get smacked.
So my wife and I have met Olivier Vernon in person, and I'm average height. I'm a little thicker than most. Like, I have a decent build when I was in shape.
Got a little bit of pudding around the side.
Little pudding, but I think, like, from where you can see me on this live stream if I were to take my shirt off, you're like, damn, Bill's probably got it going on. But then I stand up and it just turns into a complete disaster. I look like basically a human scoop of mashed potatoes from my chest down. Chest is hot though. But I will say, dude, Matt Olivier Vernon, that is a large guy that is a lot faster than me and a lot stronger than me. I'm not saying shit to his face, although he was the nicest guy on the planet. So I wouldn't say anything anyway. But my thing is, like, I understand why athletes get so defensive when it comes to, like, what they do for a living. But at the same time, I kind of just wish they'd all realize, like, you kind of have it better than most Americans, especially now, and have a little perspective. And also when it comes to fantasy sports and gambling, I think it's time to kind of realize that it helps you. It is doing nothing but putting more money in your pocket, whether you're Raheem Mostert or
more eyeballs on the product is exactly why the NFL is going to go and get, like, I mean, right now, CBS and Fox pay them $1.1 billion a year for their TV package. ESPN pays $990 million for crappy Monday Night Football games because they get the worst selection. But they're going to renegotiate the contracts in a couple of years, and it's going to be like $1.5 billion. They're talking like $2 billion Fox is going to throw at them. And so it's like the more interest and the more eyeballs, like you said, with fantasy and betting, the better overall. Even though the distribution of wealth between the owners and the players in the league isn't exactly as fair as it should be, but still, like, those TV contracts go up, salaries will go up.
And the thing to note about that is that they don't bid. The NFL tells them what they're going to pay, and they pay it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And what's going to be fascinating.
Amazon Prime's getting into the game. ABC wants back in the game. ABC wants to get the Super Bowl. Like you said, like, you don't bid. They're just like, here's the amount. Either pay it or we're going to take the package somewhere else.
Right, and what's going to happen at the end of 2021 is I think DirecTV is going to lose the Sunday ticket. I don't think they're necessarily interested because I cannot wait to cut the cord with DirecTV. Like, I'm chomping at the bit to cut the cord. And
you're the last person I know who has DirecTV. I'm like,
and I only have it because of the Sunday ticket. I live in Buffalo and I'm a Giants fan, so I have to fork over the $400, a season for it. And
Red Zone, baby. Red Zone is like watching football and cocaine. I love it.
Oh, I love Red Zone. See, my thing is, like, I don't like Scott Hansen. I like ears better. Siciliano. My buddy and I go douche and ears. I actually like Sicilianos, but his is $60 a week, whereas Scott Hansen is like $10. So I just roll with Scott Hansen. He's fine. He'll do.
I love Scott Hansen, man. Syracuse graduate, played football at SU too.
Oh, he did? I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah, Oh God, I can't think of it. Who did he play with?
He's probably, I would guess, early 40s. He's been doing that job for 10 years, so I'd guess like maybe early 40s.
Would be my guess. I can't remember it because he just tweeted out a picture of his roommate too. Damn it!
I would imagine he probably played like back in the day with like McNabb and stuff, McNabb and Kevin Johnson. But anyway, I'll kind of, while you're looking that up, I'll kind of go on a little bit of a diatribe about like, so Amazon Prime does seem to be the kind of natural successor to DirecTV. I mean, I definitely have the bandwidth. I have a working knowledge of IT and that kind of technology and stuff, and the stuff that Amazon Web Services does for a lot of companies. Like if you look what Amazon Net Services or Amazon Web Services does for Netflix, basically the reason we're able to have Netflix is because Amazon Web Services helps them with bandwidth and servers. So to me, the most likely place for it to land is Amazon, which I'm already paying for. So I would be thrilled. But after week 17 is when I'm cutting the cord to DirecTV, and they are probably going to lose Sunday Ticket when the contract runs up in 2021, which again, I cannot tell you how ecstatic I am for that. And it would be nice just to choose Red Zone and the Giants games and pay that. I would even pay half of the price I pay now just for those two things. I would actually be thrilled.
Oh, so I got some info on Scott Hansen quick. Played with Marvin Harrison. He walked on as a long snapper and saw time with the scout team as a wide receiver and defensive back. Undefeated at Syracuse in bowl games, 4-0. And he actually beat Kirk Herbstreit in Ohio State in the Hall of Fame Bowl.
That's hilarious.
Fun fact.
So when dude, these bowls are ridiculous. So how does Army not get its own bowl? Like, how does Army not make it to the? So explain to me what you explained to me on the phone, or explain to the audience what you explained to me on the phone about the Army football team not making it to the Armed Forces Bowl.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I forget who it was. It was either South Carolina or I think like Mississippi State. By the way, Army now is in a bowl because I think South Carolina. Somebody had to drop out for COVID or something. They didn't have enough healthy players or something, or healthy linemen. I don't know what the deal was. But the way the bowl system works, and it's just so dumb. It's all about money. I mean, if you're on the bowl committee and you run the bowl, you get paid like $1 million a year to set up a game where basically all these bowls have conference affiliations. So you don't really do any work. It's already kind of predetermined for you. So like, let's say, for example, the Idaho Potato Bowl. You'll take like the third best team from, let's say, like the Big 12 and like the fourth best team from the ACC. It's just automatically lined up for you. But the fact that Army isn't in a conference, much like most years Notre Dame, I think they're 9-2, and they missed out on a bowl because South Carolina and the SEC gets in because they're 3-8, and then like Mississippi State was like 2-9 and got in, which is just insane. And look, that's the funny part too. They couldn't get an invite to the Armed Forces Bowl. They're Army. They are the Armed Forces.
So it's Tulsa, Mississippi State in the Armed Forces Bowl. Army is playing West Virginia in the Liberty Bowl because Tennessee had to back out. Yes. Yeah, they dropped out because of coronavirus. I'd much rather see
Army than Tennessee. Tennessee hasn't been good since Manning left, or T. Martin back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Josh Dobbs is like the last time they had a quarterback of note, and that's for academics, not even for his freaking performance as an athlete. Josh Dobbs is like a genius. Do you know this about Josh Dobbs?
No.
Josh Dobbs is like, I think he's got an insanely high IQ, and I think he's like going to become a doctor at some point. Like he's like, I guess, brilliant. So he I'm trying to find this thing on him. He is, I mean, this is definitely not interesting to anybody right now but me because I brought it up. But he is, all right, you know what? I might just bail on this because I'm stupid and can't remember.
Real quick, since we're on the topic of bowls, so the Idaho Potato Bowl is happening tonight. And Nevada got I don't know if it was a delay of game or unsportsmanlike penalty, but they doused their coach with a Gatorade bath full of French fries.
Yeah. I saw that, and they got a 15-yard penalty for it.
So they got a penalty for it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I remember a couple years ago when the Alabama players, Dallas Nick Saban, he was wearing like white with like khaki, and he just had this like pink hue on him for the rest of the time, and looked like somebody absolutely took a shit in his cereal. Like he was pissed. It was funny as hell.
That's how he looks 24/7. How's that any different?
Yeah, that's a good point. And was it Joey Molinaro? You got to listen to his impression of Nick Saban giving out Halloween candy. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. All right, awesome. Now. It's brilliant. It's so funny. But anyway, so topic number one, for me anyway, is going to be the NFC least. Now it looks like Washington is going to run away with this, but I think Philly's making a late season charge. The Giants, I'm pretty convinced, are just out of it at this point, and Dallas sucks. They're paying their second best running back an absurd contract. Tony Pollard is the best running back. But you can get into that in a second. But I want to get your thoughts on the NFC East and what do you think Washington's chances are in the playoffs if they are the one to make it?
Oh, if they make it to the playoffs, they're getting killed first round. I mean, they're the 4 seed, so they would take on, I think, like Seattle. Unless Seattle wins the division, and then it's either, I think, the LA Rams, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be the Rams or the Bucks. Yeah, and I actually think they can beat the Bucks. I don't think the Bucks are very good.
Ups are up and down, but I mean,
up and down is an understatement.
yeah.
They only play like one like dominant game, and that was against Green Bay, and I don't think that happens again.
I
think
don't.
they caught Green Bay on a bad day.
Yeah. Without Alex Smith, I don't trust Washington. I mean, you know, when your quarterback is going to a strip club without a mask on, like, I just don't trust his judgment. Like, he's an idiot.
He is an absolute idiot.
And
like
he knows he's on a short leash. Like, he's the type that might wash out from the NFL. Like, hey, man, maybe do everything you can to not draw attention to yourself.
And the crazy thing is there's a lot of talk in the building about how immature he is and how entitled he was, even when he was a rookie before he even started.
Yeah, and way to feed the narrative by
right. I mean, I think the narrative is the truth, and honestly, I think that he is just an idiot, and it kind of sucks for Washington because they did waste a first round pick on the guy. The Giants passed on him, and a lot of people were super critical of him. But I guess
I thought the Giants should have taken him. I was wrong.
Yeah, I held out judgment because I didn't know what the hell Daniel Jones was, but I mean, you know, he is what he is. He's Alex Smith 2.0. He might not be as good. I have no idea. But what I will say is that as far as the NFC East goes, Jalen Hurts, man, I think he's good at football. He's looked better playing against NFL competition than he did at Alabama playing SEC competition. Well, obviously, he went to the Big 12 and lit it up, but I do think that Jalen Hurts can play a little bit, and I think maybe teams will figure him out, but we'll see.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly like you said. Teams might figure him out once they get some film on him, but it's a shot in the arm for an offense that was completely dead. It's just revitalized them completely. And like, for whatever reason, too, the Eagles never want to use their run game, even though their yards per carry is great. They just decide to just chuck it a ton. But at least with Hurts now, he can run around a little bit and get the running game going. But they're scoring now finally. Like, it makes sense. Like, what sucks too is that Carson Wentz is owed like $25 million next year, and then an accelerator for the year after kicks in after like the third league day. So by the third league day of next season of 2021, he's owed like $40 million. So Jalen Hurts is the answer. Jalen Hurts is probably the future, but I don't know what the hell you do with Wentz. I don't know how you get out of that. Nobody's trading for that contract.
Well, it did come out that Wentz wants to does not want to be a backup. He wants to be out of Philly if they're going to roll with Hurts. But I think Wentz is just a more talented player, but he just doesn't have it upstairs, whereas Hurts does. I mean, by all accounts, Hurts is like an A+ guy off the field. He's obviously a really good leader. Everywhere he's gone, every teammate, every coach has loved him. I mean, Lincoln Riley loved him. Nick Saban loved him. It seems like this coaching staff loves him. The players really like him. It's just like if you could somehow stick Jalen Hurts' head onto Carson Wentz's body, then I think you might have the best quarterback in the league. But Carson Wentz is, maybe a little fragile, and especially playing in Philly, you can't be fragile in that organization. You just can't.
God, no, that city, Jesus.
No, I mean, you really can't. I mean, in their opinion, the greatest athlete in their history is Allen Iverson. Yeah. Iverson didn't really win a whole ton.
I know Wentz's problem. I know he's broken. I've been saying this for years. He went vegan. Show me a healthy vegan.
It's a good point. They're very flimsy vegans.
They just look sickly. Like, I'm sorry. And this isn't like, oh, I'm a giant meat eater. Like, no, I eat greens too. But like, I don't know. I just don't trust you. There's not enough iron in your diet. You just look poor and sickly.
Well, you remember when LeBron's first year back in Cleveland after he left Miami, he went paleo and he was like shot like the first 6 weeks of the season. Remember he took that like kind of mysterious 2-week sabbatical like right around Christmas, and he came back and he was like a significantly better player. Well, he went paleo and he was just eating like all these like super healthy foods, but he gave up meat as well. And he lost a ton of weight. He got like really skinny. And then just wasn't the same guy. And then he took that 2-week sabbatical, must have had nothing but steak and salmon, and got back, and he was back to normal LeBron. But he does, I'm telling you, I'll never forget that. It was like right around when they traded for like J.R. Smith and Timothy Mozgov and, that whole deal when they traded all those guys to the Knicks for J.R. Smith, who, by the way, I never really had a strong opinion on J.R. Smith till I saw him punch that dude in the face for breaking his window during the beginning of COVID. That was incredible.
J.R. Smith is like my mentality to a T.
I love that guy. Yeah, I love that guy. That was so funny.
I'm Mr. Neighborhood Watch on my street. Like anybody in my neighbors can tell you, like I always want to know what's going on. I'm always looking out the window. I'm always like no riffraff on my street. And I've said for the longest time that I almost have like a J.R. Smith type fantasy where like I leave my door unlocked and I want a home intruder to come in just so I can legally put my hands on them. Like I just want to get physical with someone and not be in trouble for it.
I wish an MFer would guy on your street.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so funny though. Imagine the luck. You're a scrawny little guy and you're breaking windows, and then you break the window of an insane, crazy athlete. Like, what are the chances? How unlucky are you?
Awesome.
Good Lord.
I love that. I love the fact too that like that guy couldn't end up suing him because he's on camera, like basically breaking the law. It was like a perfect scenario.
Did he break J.R. Smith's window with like a skateboard or something? I think that's what it was. He was like driving. Oh, that's that. I'm telling you, people love videos of like,
damn head. If you bust the window on my Jeep, I'm coming for blood.
Right. Dude, I drive a Jetta. Someone breaks my Jetta window, I'm livid. But I'm telling you, people love videos of like troops coming home and and puppies and kids laughing, and those are all great. But nothing warms my heart more than vigilante justice. I'm telling you,
instant karma. Just
it literally. It's like when I heard that Jared from Subway got beat up in prison. Yeah, I was like, oh. Guess who's sleeping good tonight? And it warms my heart that Jared from Subway got his shit pushed in. Dude, it made me so happy. But back to Carson Wentz. So I think Carson Wentz's best options are the obvious ones. I mean, I think Indy is the most likely. They need a quarterback.
Indy doesn't want him, man. The fans don't want him. Pat McAfee doesn't want him. I want Indy to happen for him.
So I got some other teams he could go to, right? So they can't move off Jared Goff, the Rams, but God, he would be so good in Sean McVay's offense. Yeah. The Niners should give like 3 first-round picks for him because I think want to talk Kyle Shanahan. Dude, Kyle Shanahan signed Josh Rosen today, and my first thought was, Josh Rosen's about to win a couple Super Bowls. Like Kyle Shanahan, and I've never been a big Kyle Shanahan.
No, you were crapping on him earlier in the year. He has done so much with so many injuries. It's insane.
My thing is like everybody's like, he's a genius. He's a genius. He's had 1 winning season. It's like, can we stop? He's not his father yet. Is he a genius? Yes. But I thought that game against the Rams, which now is a little diluted after the Rams lost to the effing Jets, was just sort of like, it kind of put me off a little bit. But the Jets beating the Rams put me off to the Rams a little bit. But in the moment when Sean McVay beat Kyle Shanahan beat Sean McVay and the Rams, I was like, this is an amazing coaching job because that's a really good defense of the Rams. And Nick Mullins is just playing well against them. So I thought that was a really impressive coaching job.
I don't think you can knock the Rams down that much. I know, yes, they lost to the Jets, but the Jets were due. Like you knew it was going to happen. They were going to screw it up somehow.
Right. So I do think Shanahan's done a really good job coaching, and I think he's kind of been dealt a bad hand. But like my thing wasn't necessarily with Kyle Shanahan's performance as a coach. It was this media narrative that he's this like, this great winning guy. I was like, let's let him do the stuff you're saying he's going to do first before we anoint him. That was my whole thing. It was never a Kyle Shanahan thing. But yeah.
What about Wentz to Chicago? I like that.
That was another one too. Wentz to Chicago. I mean, they could use him a strong arm quarterback in cold weather. He can clearly play in cold weather. He didn't play in Philly. He's from North effing Dakota, so I think he'd be fine.
Dakota rather than South effing Dakota.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make the distinction. He's from a Dakota, but yeah, dude, I just think that there's a lot of options for him out there, and he could revitalize his career. But if he thinks Philly stuff, you think Chicago's going to be any nicer to him? He needs to go to a town he needs to go to like a city that doesn't really care about their football team that much. Like you really should. It's like maybe just
Chargers, but they already got their guy.
Yeah, I was going to say. I was like, imagine if Justin Herbert's on Philly. For one, I'd kill myself because I do not want that guy anywhere near my division because Justin Herbert's going to be the best quarterback in the league in like 3-4 years. But yeah, man, I just think that Carson Wentz is kind of being I don't want to say unfairly because I don't know if it's necessarily unfair, but I think like there's a time when you get so flustered that you kind of just need a break from things, and then you take a couple steps back, and then you can move forward. And I think that's kind of what he's going through. He has insane arm talent. Like I don't think you can deny that. He was going to be the MVP in 2017, and I just think like, how do you get that back? But let's not let their organization off the hook. They drafted Jalen Reagor one pick before Justin Jefferson, and they drafted JJ Arcega-Whiteside 1 pick before DK Metcalf. How unlucky / stupid can you be? Like, I'm not sure.
They trade up and pass on Mahomes like the Bears. Could have been worse.
Dude, The Mahomes thing is defensible. The one that wasn't defensible was Deshaun Watson. I don't know how you look at Mitch Trubisky in college and look at Deshaun Watson in college and be like, you know what? Give me Trubisky.
Dude, and they both play in the ACC. They play in the same conference.
Like, I don't get how you do that.
At the same time.
I don't get how you do that. The Mahomes thing, I understand. That is a system that's helping him. You know, not that he's not great without the system. I'm not sitting there saying he's a system quarterback. I mean, he's mega talented.
Like he showed a ton in college at Texas Tech. Like,
right, he really didn't. And it's the same thing with Josh Allen.
Deshaun Watson showed a ton. I saw him up close and personal at Clemson. Guy's amazing. Get him a damn team.
Nick Saban had 2 weeks to prepare for him twice and couldn't stop him. Like, I think Deshaun Watson is like quietly maybe the best college quarterback of my life. Like, I think that guy's amazing. I mean, if you take a whole college career, I mean, and just how accomplished he was. Now, the best college football season by a quarterback is Joe Burrow, and I don't think that's even debatable. But I guess my point is like, you know, Carson Wentz is just he's a head case, and you know, who knows? Maybe this layoff will, you know, kick his ass into gear, and he comes back next season, and he's Carson Wentz in 2017. But like, the Eagles need to get some playmakers around him. For whatever reason, Doug Peterson just does not run the ball. Miles Sanders is clearly their best player. Their best player. Every time that guy touches the ball, as a Giants fan, I'm like, God damn it! Well, but they never give it to him, so that's great for me and great for you.
Crazy too. They're pretty damn effective at running the ball, but because of Peterson, I think they're like the 30th ranked team as far as like actual attempts at running the ball.
Right.
He's just like, screw it. Even if it is working, just abandon it and just chuck it.
So I think Miles Sanders had 12 carries in the first half of the Cardinals game and 5 in the second half. I'm like, he's your best player. Why you're not giving him the ball is beyond me. I think Miles Sanders is insanely talented. He'd be a top 8 running back if he played for most other teams.
And why coaches do that too? It's like something's working, like shove it down their damn throat. Like, impose your will. That's why I love what like Tennessee does. They're just like, oh, all right, you can't stop Henry. We're just going to keep feeding him more. Like, just
right.
Why do you think like, okay, they think we're going to zig, so we got to zag? Like, no, just go north south. Just go forward. Keep doing it. Do it until it doesn't work anymore.
Right. So just to put a quick bow on the NFC East, I think Washington's going to, just by attrition, is going to finish a division at whatever record gets them into the playoffs and gets them the division. And then I think that
I think the Cowboys beat the Eagles this weekend, and it's going to piss me off to no end because it's going to hurt our draft pick.
Because you're now not going to get Mac Jones. So or not Mac Jones. I'm sorry, Zach Wilson. So you'll probably end up with Mac Jones or Kyle Trask. You guys are going to reach for a quarterback, and it's going to be Christian Ponder. It's going to be Christian Ponder, Blaine Gabbert territory, and that sucks. And also, you guys have a really good quarterback, so I don't think you guys really need one. Just stop dicking Dak around and give him money. Like, you're giving Amari Cooper an absurd amount of money. DeMarcus Lawrence is an absurd amount of money. Zeke an absurd amount of money, and Dak is better than all of them. You should be giving him that money. Like, I don't understand why you're paying those other guys.
Yeah, we paid Zeke so he can rush for less yards than his damn tattoo on his stomach probably cost.
Exactly. And that doesn't make any sense to me, by the way. You paid DeMarcus Lawrence, right? You paid Tyron Smith way before you had to. All right. So you paid Amari Cooper, you paid Zeke, you haven't paid Dak, and you let Byron Jones.
Everybody but the most important position. We paid the pawns, we paid the rook, we paid the bishop, we paid everything but the king.
It doesn't make any sense. So it's just crazy how stingy they're being with money when it comes to Dak and Byron Jones, by the way, who is I don't know, like the third best cornerback in the AFC right now.
Yep.
You guys would, I mean, he was your best player in defense. I always thought he was the best player in defense. Like that guy is so good, but you're like, you know what? Let's give DeMarcus Lawrence money. Let's give a situational pass rusher a ton of money. Because you have one good season. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know what if Jerry would fire himself as the owner if Jerry was working for Jerry the GM.
Oh,
said that backwards.
Let's move on for my crappy team.
Okay, sorry, buddy. All right, so the NFC East sucks. What do you got for a topic?
Pittsburgh Steelers, are they broken? Can they fix it? Like, this is bad.
So what's great about this is that Cleveland is probably going to get the Week 17 flex the NBC because it's Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and there's a very good chance that that's for the freaking AFC North.
Oh man,
that is going to be the biggest game in Cleveland ever. And I'm telling you, I actually root for the Steelers, but I might go buy a freaking Baker Mayfield jersey. Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But and
It's hilarious because a buddy of mine who's a student at SU who I've become good friends with over the last couple of years, Jonathan, he's a huge Browns fan and just he is living life, man. He's loving it so much. But yeah, he's almost like a damaged Bills fan too, where he's got tempered expectations. Like, third quarter, he's like tweeting, he's like, "Can I get excited yet? Like, is it going to happen? Like, maybe I should wait till the end." Like, it's so fun to see it through his eyes, like just something brand new for him.
Right. And what do you think about Ben Roethlisberger? I think he's shot personally, but what do you think?
I think he's hurt, man. He looked great early in the year. He bounced back from surgery, but I think something's not right. And the one thing nobody I've heard is talking about is how they lost their bye week because of all the COVID stuff.
Right.
They played how many weeks in a row now? Like, because what was that? Their bye, they had to switch it to like week 5 or something.
From week 5 to week 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've gone the longest without a bye week, and just
put that in shuffled around so much, and it's just like they haven't really had a break. It's just going nonstop, and I think I
actually think that has something to do with it too, honestly, because to put it in context, the Bucks and the Panthers had a bye week in week 13, like 2 weeks ago. They just had a bye week. To put that in context, like the Steelers have played 2.5 extra months without a break than those teams. And I get that's how the cookie crumbles, especially this year in COVID, and nothing is an excuse because Buffalo kind of got a little shafted too. Tennessee was trying to say they were shafted one. I read that and I was like, it's your fault. Why are you blaming them? You're the idiots that were freaking not contact tracing, or not social distancing, and lost a bunch of guys to contact tracing because you held a unsanctioned freaking workout with just everybody.
And with Pittsburgh's like shortened bye week, like it came like in the middle of the week. They didn't know it was gonna be a bye week.
Right.
I mean, granted, you can't really go anywhere, but still, there's a whole mental part of it, like just decompressing. And there's like, oh no, there was your bye.
Right.
Now play 10, 11 weeks straight. Have fun.
Right, exactly. It was just the stupidest thing of all time. So,
and I think it's funny too, like all the stuff with Juju Smith-Schuster now, because I never I heard a quote from Aaron Rodgers, like the correlation between like celebrating and like your play, where it's like if that's you, be you. Like you can't be like, oh, I shouldn't have celebrated because then I had a bad game. Like one doesn't correlate to the other, but there's the optics of it, like just dancing pregame on the visiting team symbol at midfield. And it's like, and Mike Tomlin came out and said he's probably gonna have a discussion with him about it. Like, I know it doesn't directly affect how you actually play, but maybe you should just chill on it a little bit, at least for a week or two until you guys actually win again.
Yeah, no, that's true. And like I said,
and he got popped. Oh my God.
He did. He's not been good in either of the games that he's been doing that in too, which is kind of I get it. He's young though, and he's always been like that. He's been pretty consistent with like kind of being like kind of a goofball or whatever, but he's a good football player. And I guess, I don't want to be the old man beating the car hood with the umbrella over here, but I just think that, just do that at the end of the game when you've won. Like don't do it before. And they were so confident they were going to be Cincinnati and they just didn't. So that whole division is just kind of like, I don't know. It's the perception of it has changed a lot because like 4 weeks ago we're talking about is Baltimore done, Cleveland had just lost Odell Beckham not too long ago, and then they've been on a tear ever since, and then Pittsburgh has been falling like a turd from heaven, man. It's been bad. It's been bad.
They're the first team since I looked it up earlier. I think like the 1967 LA Rams to be 11-0 and lose 3 games straight, and the Rams lost their first playoff game that season as well.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh's going to as well. I'm not sure who they're going to play, so I guess that's going to depend on matchup. But say hypothetically, like they play,
they're play the 3 seed now. The Bills just jumped over them. So they'll play the 6 seed.
So they'd play the 6 seed. Who is it? That's not going to be Tennessee. I'm trying to think who that would actually be.
Could be Indy.
Yeah, it could be Indy. Oh, Indy's a better team than them. I mean,
they played each other this weekend too. Pittsburgh is a 2-point dog.
Wow, I did not see that coming.
Yeah. I actually think I like Pittsburgh in that because I'm like, can they honestly lose 4 in a row? I just can't see it. It's got to be a bounce back game. If not now, then never.
Right. So
like if you lose the 4th game in a row as the Steelers, it's a total tailspin. And then you go to your final games against Cleveland for the division. Like I favor Cleveland in that.
Yeah. So if it started right now, they'd play Indy, but there's a possibility that they could end up playing Baltimore or Cleveland, depending on if Cleveland wins the division and they flip, that game's in Cleveland and not Pittsburgh. So I don't know.
Plus
It'll be
Cleveland
interesting.
gets some fans.
Or the Dolphins.
God, even if you have whatever amount they're allowed in, 8,000 people, 8,000 of the dog pound playoff game, like that'll be electric.
Yeah, it really will be. I think so, and also Pittsburgh can end up, falling all the way down, and there's a possibility if they keep losing, they could end up playing Buffalo in the first round, and they don't want that smoke. I'll tell you.
No, Josh Allen will light them up again if they're coming off 5 losses in a row.
Yeah. So I mean, what are your thoughts on Ben though? Do you think he's done? I don't think he's hurt. I think he's just old. He looks like Peyton Manning in the cold weather to me now.
I don't know.
He has no arm strength.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because of the surgery in his elbow or, like you said, he's just older and everything's catching up on him. Because Big Ben has been, we've been touting him for his toughness forever, but the guy takes a beating, and eventually, cumulatively, it's just got to catch up to you.
Right.
Like all those hits after a while, like your hit counter is only so high as an NFL player, and eventually it's going to get to you. And I think it might be getting to him. And then too, like they don't run the ball. Like what happened to James Conner? Like they don't block, they don't run the ball, they take no pressure off of him. They're putting everything on his shoulders.
Right. Yeah. No Benny Snell. No James Conner. Nothing as far as running the ball. And it's like they have really good receivers, and they always do. But Deontay Johnson and Eric Ebron. I mean, you don't have to worry about them catching COVID because they don't catch anything. I was waiting for a while to use that joke, but honestly, man, I mean, I just don't. Chase Claypool can't be your best. I would say most consistent receiver. I mean, Juju hasn't really shown much. I mean, even Chase.
I love me some Claypool too, by the way. Mapletron, amazing nickname. Even though
that is a great nickname. Oh, why does he like it? That's funny.
I don't know. It's like the same reason like Kevin Durant and like the Slim Reaper or
Slim Reaper is a great nickname too.
Not Peyton Hills. Who was the running back for the Buccaneers? They called him the Muscle Hamster. Martin.
Doug Martin hated that name. Yeah, he hated Muscle Hamster.
Like that's an amazing nickname. If someone called me the Muscle Hamster, I'd be pumped.
Yeah, my nickname what used to be? Bildo. Try walking around with the nickname Bildo, dude. It's the worst.
Sound like some Bills fans would throw on the field.
Yeah, exactly. A Bildo. Oh, why haven't they done that yet? Or my last name's Kegel, so there's that.
Yeah, that just writes itself.
So what? Yeah, I know. It does. Oh yeah, you shared some of the names the drill sergeants had me. CUNT muscle. That was a great one. And I have to run over there. Yes, drill sergeant, like a freaking idiot. So my buddy John, he used to call me Fat Damon, which was great.
Yeah.
And then Jason Stillborn. I'm like, thanks, Dick. Jason Stillborn. My friends are they're delights. But anyway, so if you're done with that topic, I actually kind of wanted to move on to your other topic you told me to remind you about, and I wanted you to go on your riff about the Bills Mafia being like an onion. You had a great point about them.
Oh God, now I'm trying to remember what the hell I said.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So the who was somebody from ESPN was ripping on them because
Dominique Foxworth. Yeah.
So ripping on them because of they have a ton of they back the blue. They're very blue collar, maybe more right wing leaning. Which who cares? Every fan base has every color of the rainbow as far as political leanings and social leanings. So Bills Mafia is a bunch of – I lived out there for 2 years, and I love Bills Mafia. They fit my personality. They just love having fun. They're goddamn maniacs. They're drunkards, which I no longer am, but still I can relate to that. They're absolute maniacs. They love to have fun. They go crazy. They break tables. They set each other on fire. They boof each other with beer bongs out of chicks' butts, like all this crazy stuff. But they're also super charitable. Like Andy Dalton helps them get in the playoffs. They donate tens of thousands of dollars to his charity. Josh Allen's grandmother passes away. And when they donate $400,000 to the Children's Hospital in Buffalo, like you don't have to be one thing or the other. Like life isn't black and white. It's not like, okay, you're all good or you're all bad. You can be a mixture of everything. And that's what Bills Mafia is. They're like an onion. You peel back a different layer and you find out a new thing. Like, you can be a dick. You can be charitable. You can be a nice guy. You can be an awesome dad. You can be all these things. Like, don't just pigeonhole them into one thing. It drives me nuts.
So I'm actually going to read a quick story here about my buddy sent this to me, who's a huge Bills fan. So he sent this in a this was an Instagram post on Buffalo Bills 13th man. So it was this says, I meet up every week with a group of Buffalo guys and Bills fans down here in Florida to watch the game. This week we went to a different bar and took over a small section of the in the corner. Our server came over with a round of beers. Hang on, I got something in my eye here. I'm not actually crying.
Tearing up.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on in my eye. For everyone at the table, and tells us that the gentleman across the room sent them to us. Initially, we all assumed there was other Bills fans there and that they had sent the drinks over. However, she pointed to the man at the bar wearing a dark shirt and no Bills, wearing a dark shirt and no Bills or football colors at all. A few minutes go by and he sends us another round of drinks. At this point, we're a bit confused as we notice he's not a Bills fan, nor do any of us know him. Finally, we waved him to come over, and he tells us he's a Bengals fan. He tells us that he loves the Bills Mafia. 2 years ago, when Andy Dalton threw that touchdown pass, which sent Buffalo to the playoffs, the money that the Bills Mafia raised for Andy Dalton's foundation helped save his little cousin's life. And it goes on, I was truly touched by this, and for a moment, our entire table was speechless. Buffalo Bills football is bigger than just a game. Bills Mafia is a family, and we have support from fans and teams all over the world because we give back. The city deserves the title. Love to see it. So that's the kind of stuff the Bills Mafia does. Yeah. And like you pointed out, the stuff about Josh Allen's grandmother, they do a lot of stuff at the Oshai Children's Hospital here in Buffalo. And then the Barstool Fund. So I was listening to Dave Portnoy's podcast today, and they actually asked Josh Allen. It was like, hey, if we send you this Built Tough, BILLT, tough thing that goes on, all the proceeds to this T-shirt go to the Barstool Fund, which is helping small businesses stay open during the pandemic. And Josh Allen was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll wear the shirt. They have one with Josh Allen now on the shirt that's actually pretty sweet. It's Josh Allen, his arm's a rocket, and it says Built Different, I think, underneath. But I bought the Built Tough one, which is pretty sweet shirt too. And but yeah, dude, the Bills Mafia always does stuff like this. You always hear about this stuff. And yes, they exchange jerseys for BJs in the parking lot, and they slam each other
in the field. They're beer bombing at each other's butts. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Smashing tables. Like, you can be an asshole, you can be a maniac, but you can also be an awesome human being too.
Right, like, exactly.
You have to be one or the other. You catch me on the wrong day, I'm a total dick. You catch me early in the morning and I haven't had a good workout the night before, I am an asshole.
Yes.
But then you catch me on a game day, I'm the most lovable, carefree, like I'll meet anybody type of guy. Like,
you wear skirts. It's beautiful.
Goddamn kilt, mother.
Yeah, sorry. Skirt kilt, it's all the same.
No, it is not. Not even close.
Although the kilt is pretty sweet. But honestly, man, I think the stuff that Dominique Foxworth said he said it was taken out of context, but I don't know if you can really take audio out of context. Like I listened to it. I know what I heard. And honestly, it's, his opinions aside, I think it's just unfair to classify any group of people as one thing without getting to know them. And I thought what he did was incorrect. I think just that statement in general is just a blanket statement. If you're saying it about any group of people, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think I have different, groups of, people that I've been around growing up. Everybody's, as long as you're not a dick, as long as you're a good person, 99.999% of people are really nice to you. And if there's ever an issue with anything, it's because A, they're a bad person, or B, you're a bad person. Other than that, you really don't have a ton of shit to worry about.
And I get so sick of these talking heads where they know Bills Mafia is a fanatic fan base. And if you say something to like disparage them, it'll get you a ton of clicks because they're going to galvanize and come after you. Like that douche Nick Wright always attacking them. And I'm like, dude, just give credit where it's due. Like, I know what you're doing, and I implore people all the time on Twitter that get so outraged by it. And I'm like, don't quote tweet him. Don't share his shit. That's exactly what he wants. You're feeding into him. You're giving him the attention and the clicks. I'm like, if you really think he's just an idiot and you don't like it, don't listen to it. Don't share it. Just move on. Change the channel. But the more you share it, the more you comment on it, the more you feed into him. It's the same thing with like Stephen A. and all that dumb crap that he says.
I don't necessarily think Nick Wright. See, what I've always gathered from Nick Wright saying the stuff that he does, I think he's being more of a Kansas City Chiefs homer as he is like, or he's being a Chiefs homer more than he is bashing Buffalo. I think Buffalo is a threat to them, and I think that's why he's doing that. So I actually always look at that kind of thing as a compliment. Like I always look at that he is, but like.
Did you see what one Bills fan posted on him? Somebody got a picture of him in like home because with most sports people, they're filming everything at home now. And it was a zoomed out photo, and he's like in his office chair, sitting like Indian style. And they're like, can you really trust any man's opinion when he sits in a chair like this?
That's hilarious.
I'll
Yeah,
find
he's
the
like Buddha. But yeah, dude. I think with Nick Wright is like I think a lot of those guys are just they like you said they just do it for clicks. I think the one person that's actually excellent at what they do, and I think he knows he's playing a character, is Stephen A. I actually turned the corner. I never liked Stephen A, but I think what Stephen A does is I think Stephen A is playing a character. I honestly don't.
Yeah, he definitely is. I can't stand it.
I know I can't either, but I think he's the most self-aware of all those guys. And I actually think that what he's doing is kind of genius because he is probably the number one property in all of sports media right now. He's at the top of the mountain. And somebody tried to tweet and was like, oh, you're getting this big contract and, you're talking all this nonsense. And a lot of people at ESPN lost their job. And he brought up a really good point, which is Stephen A is keeping a lot of people employed. And that's the thing I think a lot of people miss about the doing this stuff to get clicks is it's actually those clicks are keeping people employed. That's why, again, I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect. I'm just saying that kind of thing has never bothered me because I kind of understand what they're doing. And if you're driving traffic to a website and because of COVID, I'm thinking of things as far as like people keeping jobs now. So I'm actually a little bit more calm about that than I used to because I used to be a raging prick about it because I've been spending my entire adult life defending my Lord and Savior, Eli Christ Manning. That's his middle name, in case you weren't sure.
Oh, he died under center for your sins.
He did. I love that man. He's so beautiful. I tried to name my daughter Eli, and my wife was not having it. I was like, "What about if we have a son?" And she's like, "We're not having any more kids because you will name that kid Eli." And I was like, "Oh, I tried."
Yeah, I've had this talk with the fiance how as far as like kids' names, I just want a name. I really want a son and to name him Anthony because that's what every man in my family does. I'm like the third or fourth one, but I really want a name too where I can just turn it into a nickname like AJ or DJ or TJ or something like that, or like Little Tone. Set the tone, Little Tone.
Yeah, Tone. I'm surprised you're not going to name your son Troy, Emmett, Mike,
no,
Deion, Dak.
No, because my fiance's a Giant fan. She'll never allow that. There's no way in hell.
Oh,
so quick.
Oh, so Saquon to Nicola, you don't like that? That doesn't sound good together?
She does miss his thighs.
Oh, she is not the only one. There's a whole household over here. My wife and I were both missing his thighs on Sunday. Wayne Gallman, decent player, doesn't have the thighs. No. But
can't jump out of a pool from, waist high water or shoulder high water, whatever it was.
Dude, I don't think I could jump out of a dog bowl like that. Dude, I was like getting so old, man. I remember
the last time I actually honestly jumped. I think about it.
Yeah, I know.
I'll do squats, but I don't really do box jumps.
Right.
I have to scare something.
Exactly. Dude, I told you I pulled a muscle in my lower back, which is part of the reason I could not do the show last week. I pulled a muscle in my lower back sliding a pallet with my foot. Like, that is how old and decrepit. I turned 37 in like 2 weeks, dude. That's how old and decrepit I've become.
Your wife's going to get you Life Alert for Christmas.
That's a great idea. She actually she filled out the application for my AARP card and American. What's the one Alex Trebek sponsors? RIP. The AmeriLife or whatever the hell that is. Yeah. So, yep. We're celebrating our birthday by filling out my DNR. I can't wait. I'm getting great, dude. I'm so old. I hurt my neck like 6 months ago sneezing. Like, I told you, I'm like those women I'm like Goldie Hawn and Meryl Streep at the end of Death Becomes Her, where they're living forever and they fall down the stairs and just fall into a million pieces. That's me, dude.
I keep having a sore neck from Shrug Day, and the lady was at the gym with me watching me and filmed me with Undertaker eyes rolling in the back of my head.
Yeah.
And she's like, no wonder your neck hurts. You're pulling up this massive amount of weight and just straining yourself the whole time. You're gonna crap yourself.
Dude, it's unbelievable. Getting old sucks, which is why Ben Roethlisberger is pretty impressive. The fact that he's playing at 37 with all the injuries and the way he's treated his body. And then let's go. Let's actually quickly talk about Drew Brees to kind of close out the show a little bit. That man cracked 11 ribs and punctured a lung a month ago. A month ago. Dude, I am still hurting from that sliding pallet pulled muscle thing. And that was 10 days ago. That was a third of the time. And I'm literally shuffling around here like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons because my back hurts. Drew Brees played an NFL game.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, dude.
I was amazed by that too because I never took like anatomy and physiology at all, like as a class, and I had no idea we had that many ribs. I literally had no clue. Like if you asked me to guess, I thought maybe like 6 to 8 ribs. That's what we have.
Yeah.
And this dude cracked 11, and I'm just
well,
like,
Marilyn Manson has, I think, 8 ribs, but he did that for leisure. But dude, I don't know.
Like, I would just want to die. I never broke a rib, but a buddy of mine, when I was maybe like 15, broke his. We were playing pickup football.
Yeah.
And I remember for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, he just couldn't even get off the couch. Like,
and he's 15,
he would cry when he sneezed. Like, he was terrified to have a sneeze or a cough. He would just try to swallow it.
Dude, and 15-year-olds heal like Wolverine. Like, imagine being 40.
Dude. He could not get off the couch. We'd have to go over there and just hang out with him. He wouldn't move. We'd have to bring him everything.
Right.
I was like, dude, like, how do you go to the bathroom? Do you just go in a bucket? Like, you imagine you had to take like a really bad dump and just strain and oh no.
You guys are treating him like Lieutenant Dan. Like you have to carry places and stuff.
Ice cream, Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
Yeah, he just throws in his bedpan because he's so depressed. But honestly, man, Drew Brees, even though he wasn't exactly great in that game, and actually, if you want to talk about that game, we can, because I don't know if Kansas City looks off to me. I don't know if I'm the only one noticing this, but Kansas City seems off to me.
They're so talented, but they seem like they never fully turn it on. They're like a dimmer switch. Like they just never get it to the full brightness. And the potential's there. And I feel like they rely on it too, where they're just like, oh, we don't need it to the playoffs. Like, we'll just turn it all the way up at the playoffs. Like, they're gonna go to turn it up in the playoffs, and they're gonna flip a breaker. Like, it's just not going to be there for some reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're almost like cocky with it. Like, they're one of the worst teams at covering, too. Like, I've been saying it every week, and I text you, and I'm like, hey, man, take the dog. Carolina, they didn't cover. It was a push with the Saints. I think it was Kansas City -3. Like,
yeah,
they don't beat up teams. They keep it close for whatever reason. So it worries me when push comes to shove in the playoffs. Like, that's why I really think Buffalo has the best chance to take them out.
I mean, I really do too. I 100% feel that way too, because I think that
Buffalo learned way more from that loss than Kansas City learned from that win.
Buffalo kind of hung with it a little bit. That was kind of a weird weather game. That was like coming up. That was like after the Tennessee game. Too. Yeah. So
that game, it got moved to Monday or Tuesday or whatever it was. Like, the schedule was all thrown out of whack.
Right. And Josh Allen has been white hot like the last month. He's been absolutely unreal, and I'm actually kind of here for it. I'm really excited for Buffalo as a Giants fan living in Buffalo. I mean, I live like 20 minutes from the stadium, and it's really exciting for the area. But at the same time, it's like this Buffalo team, they're not like a flash in the pan, like, oh, we barely made it, we're happy to be there. This is a legitimate team. They really don't have a ton of weaknesses. Their defense kind of gets a little lax, but their defense, I think, like, is so far ahead in fourth quarter takeaways in the NFL. I think they're double the second place team. I have to get that stat so I make sure I have that correct, but their defense plays really good situational defense. I think they turn it on. Trey White is actually getting healthier as the season goes along. I mean, he's been excellent the last month. Allen's been excellent. It's like I was saying to you on the phone, which is, if you want to play man-to-man, here's Stephon Diggs on a slant. Try to cover him one-on-one. Yeah. Or you want to play zone? Okay, here's Cole Beasley. Oh, you want to play close? Oh, we're just going to throw the ball over the top.
Beasley.
Yeah, I know you do. We're going to throw the ball over the top to John Brown or Isaiah McKenzie or Gabe Davis. Oh, you want to play back a little bit? Okay, Josh Allen's going to run for 11 yards. Or Singletary's going to bust a run. That team has so many dimensions, and they win in so many different ways. I just think they're going to be impossible in the playoffs.
Yeah, dude, and Josh Allen too. I mean, he's still got to be in talks for the MVP. 4,000 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, only 9 picks. He's got 8 touchdowns rushing as well. Like, right. I know everybody's talking about Aaron Rodgers and how he's got 40 touchdowns versus 4 picks, but you have to have Josh Allen in the conversation.
He's going to get votes. I don't think he should win. I think it is either Mahomes or Rodgers.
We'll see in the next couple of weeks, man. I think he can play his way into it.
I think if he actually goes into New England and he absolutely just lights them up, I can see him getting
fun to watch.
What if he throws 5 touchdowns, or he throws 7 touchdowns the next 2 games? Like, there's a possibility where he does kind of jump in. But
the one thing that sucks about this though is that he didn't get to do it against Tom Brady. Like, he's not playing his best football while Brady.
I know. The Bills fans
that's the true way to unseat like the king. Like, just
Right.
take them out. It's not to like. I don't want to like invalidate what Buffalo has done at all, but I just would have loved to see them just shove it down Brady's throat.
I know, I would too. But wouldn't you? What would the NFL be see? I've been kind of thinking about this a lot. So my prediction for the Super Bowl right now is Buffalo, Green Bay. Right? Those are the two smallest markets in the NFL. I mean, Jacksonville's probably right there with Buffalo and Green Bay. But like, is the NFL going to be happy with that?
It's the NFL, man. They're the exception of the rule.
Right, I agree with you. I think teams will like the quarterback matchup
everywhere too. Like, you're a Giants fan in Buffalo. I'm a Cowboys fan in Syracuse. Like, it's not a regional thing with the NFL.
Oh, if you want to have some fun, Google Bills backer bars and find the interactive map. They have Bills backers
bars. I follow
one
in Nashville. Nashville Bills backers. They're an awesome follow.
There's one in Mexico. There's a couple in Puerto Rico. There's a whole bunch in Florida. There's the best chicken wing place in all of North Carolina, and I lived there for about 5 years. The best chicken wing place in North Carolina is Buffalo Brothers. Two guys from Tonawanda, which is awesome. Buffalo. Yeah. And they make their own wing sauce in-house, I believe, if I remember correctly.
No,
but I will say, man, I think that you're right. I think the NFL is not going to care. And honestly, if Buffalo wins, I mean,
that's two high-scoring teams too. That's a fun matchup.
That is such a fun matchup. That is going to be. I actually am hoping for that. But all right, so real quick, we'll finish out the show with the NFC.
Yep.
Who's the best team in the NFC? I mean, the Packers got smoked by the Bucs, but the Packers are better than the Bucs, so it doesn't make any sense.
I think it is the Packers, but that defense is suspect. The NFC is wide open to me. AFC is stacked with all the teams, and the NFC is just wide open. Hey, dude, I'm so excited for the playoffs. Originally I was against the expanded playoffs, and now I love it. I'm like, look at all these matchups we're gonna get.
Okay, so as of right now, if the playoffs were to start today in the NFC, it would be Washington, Los Angeles the Rams at Washington, the Bucs at Seattle, and the Cardinals in New Orleans, and then Green Bay would get the bye. So
matchups.
I know. I think so. What's the early game? What's the early Saturday game? No one gives a hell about. Like what is that game? Is it?
Rams, Washington.
But it's not the Browns Tennessee, because that was actually a fun game. Like, the Browns kind of lit them up, and Tennessee sort of made it fun. It's never going to be the Steelers. So if it's Colts Steelers, never going to be the Steelers in that game. Miami Buffalo? I don't think so. I think Buffalo's kind of popular.
No, it's got to be the Rams and the Washington football team.
That has to be, right? Because they're going to have a best of 500 record. No, I'll actually probably will skip that one game. But
the Nickelodeon game.
The what?
The Nickelodeon game.
Yes, exactly. So I'm looking at it right now. So if I had to pick a team out of the NFC, gun to my head, to make it to the NFC Championship to go against Green Bay, because I actually do think Green Bay is going to come out of the NFC, I'd probably go Seattle.
Yeah, let Russ cook.
Yeah, I mean, it's Seattle, Green Bay in Green Bay, and then Buffalo, Kansas City, and Kansas City. I think any combo of those four teams going is great. Yeah. I think it's a great Super Bowl.
I love those matchups.
I do too. So, but as of right now, my pick is going to stay Green Bay, Buffalo, unless something catastrophic happens.
I'm going Kansas City, Green Bay.
Okay. So
much as I ripped on Kansas City earlier for not being able to turn it on, until they prove me wrong, I can't bet against it.
I'm betting against it based on how they've been playing. Like, I don't know if you can. I hate the on-off switch thing in sports, but Golden State kind of proved that on-off switch thing exists. So, all right. But anyway. So let's finish out with some picks. Nobody should ever take advice from me, because I went 1-13-2 last week. 1-13-2, Tony.
Oh, see, I only picked 2 games. I don't pick all of them. I did have the Jets plus 14. I called that one.
Yeah, so that's a good one.
I didn't call the money line, though. That would have been really brave.
Right. That would have been, but that would have been a hell of a payout.
Yeah.
So I'm going to write our picks down. We're going to go over them next week and see how we do. Okay. So
we'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Falcons plus 10.5 at Kansas City. I said it earlier. Kansas City does not cover ever, and you're giving me 10.5 backdoor garbage touchdown by Matt Ryan. I'm cool with it.
Okay. All right. What do you got next? What's your next one?
I'm going to take the Steelers +2 at home. Home underdog. They've lost 3 in a row. I know the Colts are a tough team, but it's now or never for Pittsburgh. They have to win this game. If they don't, then they're playing Cleveland in Week 17 for the division. This is must win for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's +2.
Show up +2.
Yep, I got +2.5. Weird. On mine. So okay, and then what's your final?
I'm only doing 3.
Really, I have the Steelers -2.5 is the line I'm looking at. It's a 4-point swing, 4.5-point swing. That's weird.
I'm going to take a favorite. I'll go Seahawks -1.5 against the Rams.
Okay.
I was thinking about Green Bay against Tennessee, but that's a 3-point line. 1.5 is much better for a favorite.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm gonna take so for my 3, I'm gonna do Miami -2.5 against the Raiders.
Ooh.
I think Miami is just better. I think the Raiders defense is trash. I think John Gruden's trash. I feel bad for Mike Mayock because I think he's
the Raiders are giving up. I think they're just toast.
I think they're turning it in, yeah. And I think Marcus Mariota is going to start against a really good defense. Yeah, I'm good. So where's the other one here? Man, this one's I'm not going to do that one.
What were you thinking? I want to hear it.
I was going to do Texans -9 over the Bengals, but I can't pick the Texans to do that.
Oh,
so
God, no, they're terrible at covering this season. They're horrible against the spread.
Right. So I'm going to do the Chargers -3 against the Broncos. I'm taking 2 favorites so far. And see here. Man, this one's
You're
tough.
putting your faith in Anthony Lynn. That's amazing.
I'm putting in Justin Herbert.
Touche.
Yes. And man, I'm going to go Philly -1.5 against Dallas.
It's probably a good bet. I wouldn't touch the damn game, but
yeah. So I have 3 favorites, which I don't like doing.
The one time I bet against Dallas was that Pittsburgh game.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I was pissed. I was like, oh, okay, they're 0-6 against the spread, and then yeah,
right.
I'll take them. I'll take Pittsburgh -13.5. Yeah, no, I haven't close.
All right, so this is we'll do our week 16. So I'll check in on these next show, which is actually going to be Tuesday next week. As well, we're going to try to make sure we stay on schedule. We're going to start putting our stuff on Spotify and iTunes.
I don't have to worry about SU games for the next couple of weeks since we're on pause. So
yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, my wife is a Buffalo University of Buffalo grad, and she's actually going to start their medical school in September. So she apologizes for on behalf of her.
UB.
Yeah, her alma mater. So all right. So do you have any closing rants? Because I definitely have one. This has nothing to do with sports, but I just want to point something out that's really
just got a quick feel good one. I mentioned to you on the phone. You talked about earlier, Barstool is doing the small business fund. Eric Diefendorf, former Syracuse basketball standout, is doing one for Syracuse. Nice. He set a goal of $25K. He hit that goal in like 48 hours. So
nice.
Barry McNamara convinced him to up it. So now it's $50K. And I think last time I looked, he's at $31,000 right now. So it's a GoFundMe, nice. $50,000. He's going to give $5,000 each to 10 different businesses in the Syracuse area and just kind of keep them afloat, much how Barstool has done.
Nice. That's a great story. Eric Diefendorf really changed the perception of himself, actually, with that podcast and just some of the stuff he's done.
Yeah, his philanthropy for Syracuse, he has another drive where he's giving away first 400 people to show up next week get free hats, scarves, and gloves. And nice. He also does a sneaker drive for kids in the area.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's really nice of him. So, all right, I'm going in a way creepier direction, so I apologize in advance. So, you know the song "Sweet Caroline" by Neil Diamond?
Yes. Yeah, the Red Sox song, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so everybody loves that song. Everybody, just because I said that now, everybody that hears this, all fucking 6 of you, when you hear that song, you're going to hear ba, 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 whatever. So, I just want everybody to know that in the sound of my voice, that song is written about an 11-year-old. Not his 11-year-old, but an 11-year-old Carolyn Kennedy that he saw in a magazine was inspired to write the song. So the thing that I will say, that the line "touching hands, touching you, touching me, sweet Caroline," if a motherfucker writes that shit about my daughter, I'm putting him in the ground. 1,000,000%. Don't write a song about my kid. I will give No passes to anybody but myself. Don't write a song
I'm
about my
still
kid.
writing a song about your girl now.
Do not write a song about my daughter.
Okay, I'll have Kayla do it since she can carry a tune.
Yeah. It's a good point. Kayla's a good singer. So,
She's not as dark as I am, so it'll actually be sweet.
listen, "Sweet Caroline" is a sweet song if it's written about your own kid. Does Neil Diamond not have children he could have wrote that song about? Yeah, have a kid, name it Caroline, then put the song out after you have the kid. I just don't understand why you write a song about someone else's kid. It's weird, dude, especially an 11-year-old. And you have a line in there, touching hands, touching it, and I'm sure it was all innocent. I'm sure Neil Diamond is a wonderful fella who has no desire to do anything with a child, but just don't write a song about somebody else's kid. It's
Every
weird.
time I hear about Neil Diamond too, I just think of Saving Silverman, which is an amazing movie.
Funny movie, yeah. Very underrated comedy.
Jack Black.
Yeah. See,
and Jack Black comes out as being gay.
Yeah. And then I will say that Steve Zahn is one of the most underrated actors of our generation.
I can remember his name. He's great.
That guy is a great dramatic actor. What the hell's the name of that movie my wife loves with Drew Barrymore, where he plays like the baby daddy of that movie? I can't remember, but he's actually really good as like a drug addict in that movie. He was in this other movie called Oh my God, I just lost it. It's with Timothy Olyphant, and they go on vacation, and basically Timothy Olyphant's character is terrorizing him. I literally just had the movie in my head, and it went away. I have to look it up, or I'm going to lose my mind. But anyway, don't write a song about my kid. That's all. But the Neil Diamond thing, I'm sure he's like I said, I'm sure he's a wonderful guy. I just, it's just odd that he would write a song about someone else's child. It's just very bizarre to me.
Dude, if the nachos stick together, that counts as one nacho.
That's a good point. Oh, he was also in Steve Zahn was also in geez, man, I'm doing so bad in movie stage. You know how I am. I usually am like a freaking
You don't have to say it does it for you.
Yeah, exactly. So he was in Joyride, good movie. Riding in Cars with Boys is the Drew Barrymore movie I was talking about. And the movie I was talking about was called A Perfect Getaway, starring Timothy Olyphant, Mila Jovovich, and Steve Zahn, and young Chris Hemsworth. Good movie. Real good thriller. But yeah, so don't write a song about my kid. Anybody. Thank you. All right. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. That is Tony Nicola. I am Bill Kegel. Follow us on Twitter at QSwaterboy, at Bill Kegel, at backsportspage.com, at backsportspage. I will eventually, once I get any time to myself after the holidays, I'll probably start writing for them. So you can find that stuff on backsportspage.com. I also, a couple years ago, did an interview with Joe Buck. The transcription of that is on there. Delightful guy. Couldn't have been nicer to me. I think I have the audio somewhere of an interview I did with Ian Eagle as well. Also a really good guy. And we are looking to have guests similar to that on the show in the near future.
Well, Ian Eagle.
What's that?
Syracuse standout as well, Ian Eagle.
Ian Eagle, yeah, he is a Syracuse guy.
And his son Noah, who now is commentator for the Clippers, I believe. Yeah.
Who is?
Noah Eagle.
His son. Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
Carbon copy of his dad, like just.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You'll have to look it up when we get off here. It's crazy. That's
really funny. I'm a big fan of Ian Eagle. Him and I talked about movies. So it was only supposed to be. I was doing these series on the podcast a while ago called they're just like quick hits. So it's just me. It's basically like interviewing somebody for like 10, 15 minutes, and it's basically like, hey, fix your Wikipedia page. Tell me about yourself, and just getting backstory on them. And then him and I sort of dovetailed and ended up talking to each other for about 35 minutes about movies and stuff. So great dude, great interview. I'll try to put that up on the website at some point. But continue to listen. We'll be on Apple and Spotify. Hopefully this episode. If not, definitely the next one. And Tony, every week I want to start a tradition where is you just say something, and that's how we end the show. Whatever you want to say.
Happy Hanukkah.